And steel players are notoriously kind of shy and
reclusive.
Yeah. I mean, they're not used to being in the lead like that.
Yeah.
So
right up there in front.
So it took a while to find people now, but now we've got a solid. And now I've got people kind of beating on the door that want to play.
It's so cool.
Kind of figuring out how to navigate music after COVID. And I toured with Wayne Hancock for 5 years. So so I'm not touring right now. And so, you just have to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
And
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. And so basically my game plan has been, I have this, thank goodness, I have this weekly residency here in Austin.
Cool.
On Sunday nights. And I've got a pool of great players. And so I just, we just keep working out new tunes and
Are you
actually, writing stuff and
are you the band leader of that project?
What's that?
Are you the band leader of that project?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's my night, and it's at this club, Samstown Point, which is basically it's almost like an artist commune in a way. It's like a collective, and there's a bunch of people involved, and everybody pitches in to make it happen. And it's not a corporate club, it's just a bunch of people running it. And it's owned now by Ramsey Midwood, who is he used to be an actor in LA, and but he's a great, like, Americana songwriter, and he has a band. And so anyway, it's very musician friendly, and it's old Austin, there's dogs walking around and stuff like that,
Nice.
And, I just volunteer and do their Facebook page and their calendar and stuff like that. And so we all just pitch in to make it happen.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's great. Boy, I love it. Yeah. And so I've just been doing my little residency, and then every once in a while we make a one of these records. And I've been putting out these little jazz combo records with a steel lead combo. And the latest one, the one I just sent you, was with vibraphones. I've been playing with this guy, Mike McGurk, for the last year. He's a vibraphone player. So that was pretty inspiring, cool sound. And
I was listening to that record, and like I said, not only do you get the exotica vibes, but also you get the bossa nova vibes. You get the vibraphone. It really adds that kind of Cal Jader accent to it as well.
Exactly, Cal Jader. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm listening to a bunch of that stuff, and just, I don't know. I guess since like during COVID, all bets were off because everything was shut down and nobody was touring, and so it gave you a sort of a freedom to do whatever you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
because you weren't really gigging or tied to anything. So
right.
And so I've been having fun, trying to figure out how to play all this kind of music on the lap steel. So
it's like taking the horn parts and turning them into the steel parts, and
exactly
that, and I absolutely adore it.
What's that?
I said I absolutely adore it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, steel's such a hard instrument to play. Like, what got you into that, Rose?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've been playing music my whole life. Like I started taking piano lessons when I was 4 years old, and then just from there, just the usual grade school, played clarinet in the school band and folk guitar, and then when I later on, like when I started playing banjo and fiddle, and got into like Appalachian string band music, and did that. Played clawhammer banjo and button accordion ferociously for decades. And
that's amazing, because I only know of you from playing steel, so that's so cool. I didn't know you were such a multi-instrumentalist as well.
Yeah. We had a band called the Heartbeats. It was an all-woman band, and for about 10 years, and we did the festival circuit, Merle Fest, Telluride, and all the Canadian festivals like Vancouver, and we did tours in Germany, and then I played with this band, the Crooked Jades, out of San Francisco, and they do sort of arty old time stuff, and I did some European tour with them as well, and so that's what I did for many years, and then I guess I just started. It was almost chronological. Like I started, I was playing like 20s and 30s sort of old time string band music, and then all of a sudden I was listening to Hank Williams and Webb Pierce, and got interested in the steel. And when I used to spend a lot of time in Louisiana because I was into button accordion, so I was playing Cajun music and Zydeco and stuff like that. Cool. And I was at this dance hall in Breaux Bridge, Louisiana, which is just outside of Lafayette. And there was this band playing, Walter Mouton and the Scott Playboys. And the steel player, Randall Foreman, was playing out. It just totally grabbed me. He was playing this rhythmic backup kind of style for the Cajun music, and I don't know. I think that's when I got hooked on the steel, was listening to that guy play, because it was different. It was he was playing real punchy rhythmic kind of stuff, that's the kind of stuff I played, like on the banjo and the button accordion, and everything was real punchy.
Yeah, just really just padding the chords.
Well, I mean, he was instead of padding the chords, he was punching out the rhythms. Yeah. And and it was really cool. And I went, wow, I'd never heard a steel played like that, and that spoke to me. And then I started listening to Western swing, Bob Wills and all that.
Goodness.
And of course, the steel guitar in the Western swing, they emulate the big band horn sections, and I mean, they play piano lines, they play there's all kinds of ideas that come out through the steel guitar in the Western swing. So that was kind of it. I have like all these instruments that are kind of stored away in the closet now,
Right. As soon as everyone found out that you played steel, they were like, so.
Well, no, that as soon as I started playing steel, that completely took over my brain. So like all the accordions and the banjos and the upright bass and everything just went in the closet, and I just started playing, just concentrating on the steel guitar. It's a hard instrument.
Yeah.
So it takes about 10 years to start playing in tune.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And one of my favorite, of course, some of my favorite steel players. I mean, it's a pedal steel world out there, right?
Yeah.
But lap steel, non-pedal steel, straight steel, however you want to say it.
Lap. That's usually what I call it.
Some of the best players we're playing with Wayne Hancock and Asleep at the Wheel. And so I was a huge Wayne Hancock fan. I had all his records, and I loved listening to Eddie Rivers play the steel and Jeremy Wakefield. And it was just, so I really just studied those records forever. And then when I finally moved to Texas, that was a secret dream, was to play for Wayne. And it took about 3 years beating around the clubs here, but I finally got a phone call, and it was like, wow, okay, it was thrilling.
Yeah, that's how it worked when I worked for him too. Is a phone call, and you're like, well, okay, sure. That's
what I'm going to do now. Yeah.
Yeah. See, out on the road 200 plus days a year. All right, cool. I guess that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, okay, that's, I mean, yeah, it was pretty great. And I played with him for 5 years, and, it was quite an experience, and,
you learn a lot.
Really helped. Oh, you learn a lot. Yeah.
You learn a lot. You meet so many interesting people because, Wayne just runs in interesting circles. And you get your prowess on the instrument down working with Wayne because you work.
Oh, because you're playing, you play every night.
You work.
Yeah. And it was, everybody was so encouraging, that the guys I was playing with they're like, just go for it, man. Turn up the steel.
Exactly. Like, the chord structure isn't a very complicated one. So it's just kind of carpeting for you to solo on. And
exactly.
Playing upright bass, I had to figure out the secret with playing with Wayne was A, don't watch his hand, because he likes to syncopate. But B, if you catch the rhythm of the lyrics, if you get to Louisiana, won't you tell her hello from me? If you can do that with a 6th arpeggio on the bass, you're good.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. So how did you hook up with Wayne?
I just got a phone call, actually an email.
An email.
Yeah,
I didn't know he did email.
Well, Gina emailed me. It was when Gina was booking for him.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And I was in Colorado, and I just moved from Virginia, and I was playing with some bands there, and just bopping out some work here and there. And just got an email. Hey, do you come down to Texas and do an audition? And he saw between Gina showing him and him seeing it himself, some videos of me playing online, and that was it. But there was one thing I can definitely say that I got to experience with Wayne that nobody else did, and that's I helped him move house.
Oh, wow. He's got a lot of memorabilia.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool stuff. It's interesting stuff.
I remember walking in and just like being like, oh, wow, this is really well decorated.
Yeah, amazing. So you helped him move house.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, you moved all his stuff, over to Gina's or something?
No, it was the house he's living in now. He was living.
Oh, okay.
He was living in the hill country prior. And
okay.
Yeah, it was just I was like, well, I never thought back in the day when me and my buddies were working on my 51 Chevy and drinking vodka and orange juice and listening to Wayne Hancock that I'd be helping him move house, but here I am.
Yeah, it's funny. Oh, that's good. I'm glad you helped him. Yeah.
So,
well,
with the new record that you had coming out, did you just have this list of, you're like, here's these kind of old bossa nova tunes or this kind of old exotica style music, I really want to put my own spin on it?
Well, actually, the vibraphone player, he's the one who brought in, I'd always say like, hey, y'all have some tunes you want to do or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so he suggested Corcovado.
Yeah.
And I had been into one note samba, trying to figure out that for a while. Mm-hmm. And then I came across Stan Getz' version of it.
Yeah.
And I was sitting around on the steel and I went, oh, I can do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just as smooth as a sax.
Well, yeah. I mean, I do copy saxophone lines or, I do.
Yeah.
I steal from the saxophone. I steal from the piano.
Absolutely.
Like all those instruments, all those kind of ideas will, some of them, not all the stuff, but some of it, a large part of it will work on the steel. Some, I have to fuss around with it and twist it around and kind of see what works. But there's just a lot of great ideas out there that can transfer to the steel guitar. And then you gotta do some crazy slants and some crazy grips and all kinds of. But there's all kinds of ideas out there if you don't limit yourself.
Yeah. Rolling the tone knob and.
Yeah. It's all stuff you can do with the hands and bar slams and muting and there's just. I mean, it's kind of, I guess you just have to don't worry about sounding like a steel guitar.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, don't limit yourself, cause
right. I get it.
Yeah. So it's fun. I'm really enjoying it.
Well, the canon of steel guitar music that we've been given, it gives you so many different influences, everything, from Vance Terry to obviously Eddie Rivers and Jeremy Wakefield, but I'm sure that you can still copy a lot of pedal steel licks too, stuff from Speedy West and
well, Vance Terry is a big hero for me. I mean, I just think he was just
Jimmy Rivers
amazing.
Jimmy Rivers' record ruined music for me because it was like, this is the level that's achievable.
Yeah, the Brisbane Bop record is a pinnacle. And I think I've listened to that thousands of times.
I always turn on anybody that I meet that plays steel that has never heard of it. I'm like, oh, you just trust me.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
Yeah.
Here, listen to this and you can thank me later. But it's like, it's quite mind-blowing. And the thing that I really dig about listening to players, like that, is that Vance Terry, if you listen to his early work when he was 17, he was playing for Billy Jack Wills, Bob Wills' younger brother. And there's a couple great records out there of Billy Jack Wills' band and that he had, and he formed the band in Northern California. And he kind of took a bunch of Bob's players, but Vance was 17. He was playing steel and he was playing straight steel. He hadn't gotten to pedals. And so you can hear what he's doing, some great stuff. I mean, you really have to kind of listen closely because he's in the background, but he's doing some amazing things. And then you listen to Brisbane Bop, which is years later, and he's got 19 pedals and 14 strings or 11 strings, or it's just some amazing.
He just went Jedi mode.
What's that?
So he just went Jedi mode from the stuff that he was playing with Billy Jack.
And he just and then so he's playing with pedals, but he's still using some straight steel techniques that I can hear in his playing. So I love that. I've been fortunate enough to study or hang out with these older players, not Vance, he was gone, but like Pee Wee White Wing and Maurice Anderson and Denny Mathis from San Antonio and Herb Steiner, who were, they started out on straight steel and then moved to pedals. and it was there. So they were on the cusp of the development of the steel guitar as an instrument. And so they have those straight steel techniques, which is basically, I mean, they were inventing the style in those days. They were inventing the style of steel guitar, experimenting and coming up with different approaches. And then in the 50s, everybody moved to pedals because that's what was happening. And so a lot of steel players, of course, pedal steel players, you know, they emulate Buddy Emmons, you know, so that's kind of like where it's gone. But with the straight steel stuff, the early stuff, there were all these personalities on the steel, you know. I mean, everyone played differently, and if you listen to them, you can identify, after a while, you can identify the steel players just by their playing or their tone or their licks. You know, they've got signature licks, and so there's a lot of personality in the playing in the early Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, you can hear, you know, for example, when Vance Terry does something with the tone knob versus Alvino Ray.
Oh, yeah, completely different. But Alvino Ray, you got to give him props, man. You know, he led a big band with a steel guitar. I just think that's great.
and he, remember Stringy the Puppet?
Yes.
Oh, that's just like a psychedelic nightmare.
Oh, yeah, really pretty cool. That was when Wayne was really into Stringy.
Yeah, it was actually Wayne that showed him to me, and I was made sure to haunt everybody's life with it ever since that I could come across any sort of interest in steel guitar.
Yeah. So Alvino Ray.
Yeah.
I thought about making I thought it'd be a great band name to just like sort of rockabilly, swinging kind of hillbilly swing band, to call it Alvino Ray Gun.
Oh, that'd be cool.
But then I Googled it, and they used it on a Batman episode.
Then you need to just write a song called that, and you pay tribute.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And you can put like cool laser sounds in there, and oh Lord, you can.
Yeah, but it's like if somebody didn't know, I was thinking about the writer's room for that Batman series, and I thought, oh, that's kind of an inside joke, because if you don't know who Alvino Ray is,
right,
you know, you wouldn't get the Alvino Ray Gun. Like it sounds like like they were sitting around laughing, going, "Oh yeah, let's call it the Alvino Ray Gun." There was this weapon that they.
There was an old punk venue in Richmond, Virginia, called Nancy Ray Gun, and yeah, funny enough, that's actually where I learned my very first slap on a bass was from Thomas Lorieux when he was playing with the Kings of Nothing. Yeah. Nancy Ray Gun. How crazy is that? Nancy
Ray Gun. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
It took me a minute.
You can, like I said, talking about the Batman writer's room, you can picture like them like...
Yes.
Alvino Ray Gun! And they're like, yeah!
Exactly. Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. So there is a little YouTube clip of that segment. It's kind of funny, you know. Like the bad guys using the Alvino Ray Gun. Watch out! You know?
So aside from touring with Wayne, was there any other acts that you've toured with?
Just not on steel. No, not on steel. Just Wayne for 5 years, and they're just you know, doing one-offs with people, and I did do some tours, actually playing some steel and banjo with, there's this songwriter, Martha Scanlon, who lives in Montana now, but she does stuff around the West. And I did a few tours with her and did some steel work.
That's cool.
Mostly like banjo and then accordion and stuff like that. But mostly, now I'm just, I just got my, basically the last 10 years has been Wayne for 5 years, and the rest of it is, and then I also had my own little combo that I play locally.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it was just with COVID happening and everything. But once you kind of get away from the Stockholm syndrome of the road, it's kind of like I'm really glad that I got to be out there when it was really still good, because it's really, really trying to recover after everything. How many venues are just gone, and how many marquee value acts get booked before regular DIY bands get booked. And,
right.
I feel like we got to experience the salad days.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like. How is it there in Germany?
Well, I honestly haven't really played out much because I spent all my time in school. I had to get I have to be able to have my B1 B1 German certificate. Yeah, because they want to make sure that you can, for example, call the police, or you have to make a doctor's appointment or something like that. And I've achieved my A2, my A2, and so I have to take 300 more hours before I can have my conversational German.
Oh.
So
well,
I haven't
good.
really got a chance to do much gigging, because every day it was just school and then homework and then, go to sleep.
Yeah, that's a lot. That kind of does it all, right?
I start back again in May, so I've had a little time off, and it's been nice to be able to kind of get, the podcast up and going and stuff, because it's been really amazing getting to hear everybody's stories.
Yeah. Well, how did you decide to start the podcast? Just because of COVID, or?
Well, Bart Weilberg?
Sure.
Yeah, well, he's putting a new record out. And I was thinking to myself, there's nobody that I can immediately point out right away that wants to try to actively give people promotion that aren't the regular just front person of a band. People that are, the I suppose, the side players.
Right.
People that play drums, people that play bass, people that play steel, and just also other people that make other kinds of really cool art. It's just basically a chance to get to talk to people about what it is that makes them do the really cool thing that they do.
Well, Bart Weilberg was playing guitar. I worked with him for 5 years with Wayne.
Yeah, that's why I was like, that's why I was like, Bart.
yeah, I know Bart.
Yeah, so he was episode 1.
Oh yeah, oh cool. All right.
Yeah.
I heard your Lisa Pankratz episode.
That was a fun one.
She's such a great drummer. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I totally relate with that sensibility, because actually about 6 years ago, I started this thing called Steel Monday at this club that I work at. And it was basically a place, it was a steel guitar residency, and it was every Monday night from 7 to 8:30. And it was a place for steel guitarists who are normally sidemen. This was a place for them, like a spotlight on the steel guitar.
Right.
And it was provided a venue for them they bring in their own backup band, and they just play all the stuff that they don't get to play on stage. And, because usually a steel guitar in a band plays their 4 bars, and then they fold their hands and or
you slowly work over to the third of the chord as it's passing by.
yeah, it's just padding in the background.
Yeah, exactly.
Or not playing at all,
Yeah.
And so it was pretty neat. And a lot of the original inspiration for it was actually I started going to these steel guitar conventions. I started about 15 years ago. I started attending these steel guitar conventions, or not just attending. I mean, I play at them too.
Right.
And so, and they're all over. They're Dallas and Phoenix and Nashville and Branson and Southern Illinois and Rhode Island and Connecticut, Norwalk, Connecticut. There's Georgia.
I imagine it's such a tight-knit community.
Yeah, well, so I really had fun at those because it's, you're geeking out with all these steel guitar players, but I didn't want to wait all year to play those kind of tunes. And so I started that Steel Monday, the steel guitar residency at Sam's Town Point in Austin. And we would just have a different player every week. And it's still going, it's pretty cool. And we've got some heavy hitters like Jim Losberg and Steve Pelusic, both who've played with Ray Price and Johnny Bush, and they're excellent players. And so that's cool. So once and everybody wants their night, nobody wants to. Once you get your residency, you hang on. And they really like it because it's musician friendly. It's a laid back club, and they can play whatever they want. And so I moved myself. I used to play once a month, and so I just moved myself to Sunday. And now I play. So I play pretty much every Sunday at that same club. And then the Steel Mondays. Do you see the mission creep happening? I've I got Cocktail Steel on Sunday and then Steel Monday. And then I just started squeaking in some steel on Tuesday there, like Marty Muse, who used to play with Robert Earl Keen, and now he tours with Shiny Ribs, but he does a thing once a month on Tuesdays. And we got a Western Swing Band, and Herb Steiner's doing something on another Tuesday of the month. Anyway, so it's become this kind of haven.
It's so cool
for steel guitar action.
Because it's such a rare and difficult instrument to play, so that it's kind of like being in a secret club when you can do it. You know what I mean? So the people that come for the Steel Guitar Mondays, I'm sure, everybody's there not only to steal everybody's licks, but also like they're happy to talk some shop and...
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's
real fun.
Cool.
Yeah. Camaraderie.
Yeah. I mean, nobody is doing it. You have to do it.
Yeah. You kind of have to do it. I mean, I did. Yeah, I definitely, there was some self-interest there because, I wanted to, I mean, I did it once, the club owner sent me a message and said, hey, you want to bring your Cocktail Steel over here? And I was like, holy shit, that's great. Because I didn't know where I was going to play this stuff. I was just depressed trying to figure it out. And then I got that invitation just with this message. And so he just really liked it. He said, do you want to do it every week? And I went, oh, it'd be kind of boring. Why don't I curate a series? And that's how we came up with Steel Monday. And I just was beating the bushes for steel players. It's not easy to transfer from being a sideman to actually doing a whole set, leading a band.
No,
it takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
And steel players are notoriously kind of shy and
reclusive.
Yeah. I mean, they're not used to being in the lead like that.
Yeah.
So
right up there in front.
So it took a while to find people now, but now we've got a solid. Now I've got people kind of beating on the door that want to play.
It's so cool because how rarely do you get to see steel in the front.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Yeah. So anyway, that's pretty much what's going on here.
That is in this so neck rad. Of the woods. And the new record is coming out.
Yeah. I'm just kind of working on getting it all uploaded and all that stuff, and I'm gonna mail it out to sympathetic DJs
and I imagine that anybody that's listening to this is definitely going to be interested in hearing it.
Oh, well, I hope so. Yeah. Well, my usual list I have a list of my hardcore Western swing DJs and that I'm in touch with, but now with this record, I feel like I'm not sure where I fit. Like I don't feel like it really fits the Western swing. Well, a couple of the things might.
I would say it belongs in the tiki circles.
Yeah, so now I'm starting to meet the more the tiki lounge, exotica, space age bachelor pad kind of DJs, who have there's a bunch of internet radio shows out there that.
There's nothing about that sentence that was bad. Space age, tiki, steel,
Right, right. So now I have to do all this. It's like starting over. Trying to meet these folks and reach out and tell them what I'm up to and send them some stuff and just kind of develop a whole nother community and on the radio. So, but it's fun. People have been receptive so far. So just keep plugging away.
Well, yeah.
The independent artist syndrome.
Oh yeah, I completely get it. IndieOnTheMove.com.
Right.
Well, if you have any websites, any plugs, any web addresses that you'd like to share, now's the time, Rose.
Oh, just RoseSinclairMusic.com. That's easy enough. And that's really about it for now.
Is there any chance that we'll be able to see some recordings from Steel Monday soon?
Well, I've discussed it with Ramsey Midwood, the owner, about maybe doing some live recording at the club, but it's just been discussed. That's as far as it's gotten. I mean, he's done some live recording with his band. His most recent record that he's working on was recorded there. So it's possible. And I don't know. The Steel Monday recordings from Steel Monday. Well, that's a good idea. I'm going to think about that.
I mean, set 2 tripods up from each side of the stage and sync the videos together.
That's true. It would be pretty cool. Oh, just to do a video of Steel Monday.
Yeah, just set up 2 cameras on each side and from beginning to the end, so everybody gets to hear everything. Because man, that sounds really good. Like almost in the way that the Spotted Cat in New Orleans has the live stream that you can tune into, but instead it'll just be recorded videos that we can watch. Because that would sound amazing.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. And if you have the camera up so they can see the steel hands, or maybe position a mirror above the steel.
Oh Lord!
Like when I was first started playing for Wayne, and he was a really good band leader. He was ex-Marine, so we were all. It was a real. We worked well together. It was a team. It was 4 or 5 of us, 5 of us at first, and then 4.
Mm-hmm.
And but anyway, he would, instead of saying just take a solo, like he'd lean over and go, "Make yourself known." Like Wayne always had a great turn of the phrase.
As the bass player, it'd be interesting because you'd be playing Johnny Law and it'd be about into like the 4th minute of it, and then he'd look over and go "Doghouse," and you're like, I'm all right, Arn, don't fail me now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like I said, it was
like you haven't been pumping it for 4 minutes already. You know?
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, and now give me some fireworks. All right, okay. I'm glad.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm glad that I was in the military too.
Yeah. Exactly. You could speak his language.
Endurance.
Yeah.
Rose.
Yeah.
It's been so fun.
Yeah, really fun to talk to you. And gosh, I just I wasn't sure what we were going to talk about, but we just sort of sailed along. It was,
I mean, it just when two cool people talk, it's really easy, especially when
well, you can speak.
Like, you've been in the business, you can speak the jive.
Yeah, well, we both played for the same artist, and
like the same kind of music, and
yeah. So that kind of that was definitely there's something in common right off the bat. So I mean,
when I met you in Maine, I clicked with you right away. I was like, oh, she's just totally sweet. I love her. She's great.
Oh wow! So that's right, you were there.
Yeah.
That I think I drove about 4 or 5 hours.
That's what you said.
Yeah, and go here just to go see Wayne, and then the guitar player is that guy from Utah, I think.
Yeah, we had Jerry Cochran and Wyatt Maxwell simultaneously.
Wyatt was the one. He said, "Oh, do you have your steel with you? I'm going to talk. I'll ask Wayne if you could sit in." And so he kind of engineered that, and Sean Mencher was there too.
Yeah, Sean was there as well. We were hanging out in Portland for a few days because Wayne had to attend his mother's funeral. He had to fly out and fly back.
That's right. That was that weekend. And so Sean and I sat in the third set, and
I remember.
Yeah, that was cool. You and Wyatt, and you and Wyatt and Wayne.
Because then Wyatt and I went to a rock and roll show later on. I think the next day, because we were still in town because Wayne had to fly out for the funeral, so we were left. We were left to our own devices.
Yeah, I'm sure you had no problem with that.
We figured it out real quick.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. Wow. So shared history. That's
absolutely
interesting.
Thank you so much for coming on.
You bet. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, I hope that everybody gets to experience this record because they're missing out if not.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, the pleasure's been mine.
All right. Well, take care and good luck on your German studies.
Absolutely. And we'll see what happens.
Okay, good. All right, Skip, thanks.
Yeah, take care of yourself.
All right. That'll be all for today. Remember, peace, love throughout the world, and don't forget to rock and roll.